Sorry about my hiatus for the 17th time. My schedule's about as consistent as Nintendo deciding whether to sue a child or not for drawing a picture of Mario. And my ADHD finally decided to let me make a video after 4 months. So I decided to look back at Rocky Raccoon and... things haven't really changed, but also have at the same time, as he's threatened to sue children while at the same time still lusting over them. And this furry equivalent of Harvey Weinstein is still going strong even about 6 months later. However, around a month or so after I made my video, a lot more people were starting to talk about him, bringing a lot more light to him. Not because of me, of course, that was because of actually relevant YouTubers. Anyway, make sure to smash that like and subscribe button before I smash your mom, and let's get into this. Now, if you're unfamiliar with this situation, I'll give a quick recap. Rocky Raccoon is a brain rot YouTube Shorts animator whose content only appeals to literal fetuses. And about 8 months ago or so, people started calling him out for having weird and sexual stuff in his content which is supposed to be for children, and having meltdowns like a man-child when people call him out. And this guy is rather familiar with being a real-life equivalent of Quagmire, or let's be real, Herbert, since he's had quite a few instances of him drawing minors in sexual contexts, drawing characters of people who don't want that kind of stuff drawn of their character, and generally being okay with fucked up people, like when he didn't want someone banned who, let's just say, would be quite the connoisseur of Shagman's work. And whenever people called him out, he'd either give a half-assed apology or get angry at them. And an ex-moderator, Rakoon, would come out to call out Rocky and posting tons of evidence of all the stuff he's been doing. And in general, Rocky Raccoon and children is about as good of a combination as a bath salts addict and a stash of guns, since this guy likes to plaster advertisements for his 18+ Patreon all over his work that minors can easily access, which is like if Peppa Pig had advertisements for OnlyFans. And of course, even after all these months of scrutiny, he's still going, even recently making shorts about Squid Game, because he cares about criticism about as much as he cares about the age of consent. However, even in the past few months, Rakoon still has new stuff on him, as he's done even more stupid things, or just doing the same stupid things he's always done, since any sort of feedback, criticism, or general common sense goes through one ear and out the other. Not that there's anything in that empty void of a head in his anyway, but not only does he draw people without their consent, borderline CP, and whatever the fuck this is. Also, why did he draw Dream like this? He looks like a Rumpelstiltskin. More recently, he's threatened to sue a literal child. Yes, you did hear that correctly. That thing in the intro was not a joke. This all started when a kid on TikTok called Octoling, yes, that's the actual name, made a video telling Rocky Raccoon to not make an animation about Splatoon 3's idol, Deep Cut, after Rocky suggested that he would make an animation on them. And while the characters are adults, which is apparently quite the feat for Rocky, it's quite understandable why you wouldn't want this lobotomized to do anything with your fandom. Hell, unfortunately, he's in one I'm in as well. And of course, in classic Rocky fashion, he decided to respond the only way he saw fit, by threatening legal action. However, Octoling didn't give a single damn about it, and Rocky would backpedal on it anyway, after realizing how stupid this was, or more likely, after realizing that it would cost money, effort, and more than 7 brain cells. And once again, he would be the laughingstock again. But around when that was happening, another thing he decided to do, like the true modern Einstein he is, was saying the R slur in his Discord server, which unlike him I can actually say, but seeing how mentally handicapped he is, maybe he can. And when people called him out for this, he replied saying that he didn't see it as a bad thing, using the classic nah-uh argument. With his arguments, greed, and disregard for any sort of morals, he might as well be Diddy's lawyer. And similar to Diddy, he seems to as well surround himself with dubious people constantly. For example, the aforementioned Bacon Face, where Rocky didn't want him to be banned even though he was caught drawing CP, while the rest of his mods wanted to ban him.
It starts with sorry.
And Rexana has shown multiple cases of creepy people and general degenerates hanging out on his server. In fact, probably one of the funniest ones was some kid with his Hitler sewn as a profile picture, which looks like it was drawn by Chris Chan, someone comparing Mein Kampf to the Bible, another person joking about being Hitler. God, why are there so many fucking neo-Nazis on his server? And people joking about CSA, like this absolute genius who claims they're 16 while I'm surprised they're even half that. It's a completely poorly run cesspit by someone who's equally as gross. But what's even worse is the fact that his channel hasn't been taken down or anything, while Rexana has been falsely copyright struck and had her channel taken down, having to move to an alt account. And at the time of recording this, it still doesn't seem like she's had her channel back, because on this website, exploitative kids channels are perfectly fine, but even as much as a single whisper about copyright infringement is enough for them to get out the electric chair. And these channels still prosper because YouTube allows them to flourish their broken copyright system, which has been an absolute mess for years. years, YouTube not seeming to care about distinguishing YouTube and YouTube Kids, and little kids being allowed to freely roam the internet. I know I said this in my last Rocky Raccoon video, but this really does remind me of the first wave of Elsagate, and if you don't know what that is, please for your sanity don't look it up, which was shown to negatively impact children, and not even in the 90s parents way where people thought video games would make your children worship Satan. I mean, this kind of stuff is legitimately bad for children, and this kind of stuff has been a problem for years since children constantly find themselves in places where they shouldn't be. And this isn't just a modern issue, this was a thing back in the early days as well. Hell, 6-year-old me found some pretty fucked up Mario animations back then. And even in the comments of my Rocky Raccoon video, people talked about how they saw younger siblings or cousins watching his videos, and there's even some kid in the comments who said he was 12. Seriously, why the fuck are you on this channel? It's even worse when the people themselves are extremely dangerous to children and have easy access to them, in this case Rocky and all the other degenerates on his server, who seem like people you'd see on To Catch a Predator. And now I don't believe something should be censored because of it being brain rot or cringe and stuff like that, but Rocky is legitimately dangerous to children, due to him at best being greedy and negligent, and children shouldn't see his content and be in his hellspawn of a Discord server. And he does the same stupid and dangerous things over and over again, ignoring any sort of feedback and criticism. And while I'm glad a lot more people were starting to call him out, it still sucks that he has to be on this platform, and Roxana had to deal with this crackhead's antics all of these years. But until then, that's all I have for now, so bye.